Hello children, today we are going to have lots of fun by reading and enjoying the supplementary lesson The Tempest. It is an extract from Charles Lamb's Tales from Shakespeare. Presented by Philamin Bala, lecturer, DI Thuthukudi. Reviewed by Dr. P. Goldagrena Rajati, principal, DI Thuthukudi. Now, let's see the introduction to the supplementary lesson. The Tempest is a play written by William Shakespeare, probably in between 1610 to 1611, and thought to be one of the lost plays of Shakespeare. The lesson prescribed for this extensive reading is actually an extract from Charles Lamb's Tales from Shakespeare, where Charles Lamb and his sister Mary Lamb retold 20 stories of Shakespeare with an intention to reach the children with simple English. The book is designed to make the children to get familiarized with Shakespeare plays, and he achieved it. The theme of the story focuses on restoration of relationship through forgiveness. Now, let's see about the author of the story. The author of the original play, The Tempest, was written by William Shakespeare. He was an English poet, playwright, and actor. He was born on 26 April 1564 in Stratford-upon-Avon. Shakespeare is widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's preeminent dramatist. He is often called England's national poet and nicknamed the Bard of Avon, which means the greatest poet that ever lived. He wrote about 38 plays, 154 sonnets, 2 long narrative poems, and a few other verses. The famous plays of Shakespeare are The Merchant of Venice, Romeo and Juliet, The Tempest, Twelfth Night, Othello, King Lear, and Macbeth, which are also considered to be the finest works in the English language. He died on 23rd April 1616 at the age of 52. Children, now let's see the vocabulary used in the story, and that will help you to read and understand the story. Tempest, a violent windy storm. For example, instantly the tempest subsided and the fishermen went for fishing. Inhabitant, one that occupies a particular place regularly, routinely, or for a period of time. For example, the tribes namely Toda, Kota, Badaga, and Kurumba are the inhabitants of the Nilgiri hills. Witch, a woman who is believed to have magical powers and who uses them to harm or help other people. For example, the witch is wearing a black cloak, pointed hat, and flying on a broomstick. Tormenting, to cause a person or animal to suffer or worry. For example, the elephant is tormented mercilessly by human beings. Laborious, requiring considerable time and effort. For example, the volunteers involved in the laborious task of cleaning the beach. Perish, to become destroyed or ruined. For example, many ancient languages have perished over time. Duke, a man of very high rank in a country or the ruler of a small independent country. Here, I have to tell you the feminine gender of duke is duchess, and the difference between a king and a duke is kings were monarchical rulers of countries, while dukes were rulers of the provinces. For example, Napoleon was defeated by the Duke of Wellington at the Battle of Waterloo. Mast, it is a pole that rises vertically from a ship and supports the sails. For example, the mast was bent during the storm. Apparel, clothing. For example, she was dressed in bright apparel. Invisible, unable to be seen. For example, she went invisible from our sight. Mariner, a sailor. For example, he is a mariner. Lamenting, to express sadness. For example, she is lamenting the death of her husband. Constancy, the quality of being faithful and loyal. For example, the constancy of my friend makes me feel happy. Chide, scold. For example, the teacher advised that I do not have any rights to chide anyone. Amends, compensate or to do something to correct a mistake. For example, my mom asked me to make amends for the rude way I spoke to my brother. Vexation, a feeling of being annoyed, puzzled, and frustrated. For example, a small matter may be much vexation to us, but to him all things are easy. Banquet, a large formal meal for many people. For example, the ceremony concluded with a grand banquet at the palace. Harpy, a creature with the head of a woman and the body of a bird. For example, the spirit Ariel appears as a harpy in the Tempest. Repentance, sorry for something bad you have done in the past. For example, the culprit refused to show repentance for his crime. Implore, beg someone earnestly or desperately to do something. For example, the man begged the Almighty to implore mercy on him. Astonish, surprise or impress someone greatly. For example, the girl was astonished to look at the skating of the boy. Children, now you have learnt the meanings of many words from the story. Now it's time for your reading. Come on, try to read and understand the story by your own. Now I'll display a set of questions where you can try to answer after reading the story. Children, hope you enjoyed reading the story. Did you try to answer the questions which are displayed? Good. Now, let me tell you the summary of the story. Before going into the summary, let's know the characters in the story. Prospero, the rightful Duke of Milan. Miranda, daughter to Prospero. Ariel, a spirit in service to Prospero. Caliban, a servant of Prospero and a savage monster. Alonso, king of Naples. Sebastian, Alonso's brother. Antonio, Prospero's brother, the usurping Duke of Milan. Usurping is taking the power illegally. Ferdinand, Alonso's son. Gonzalo, an honest old counselor. And Marinus. Now, let's see the summary. The Tempest is a play about magic, betrayal, love, and forgiveness. It is set on an island where an old man Prospero, the one-time Duke of Milan, and his beautiful daughter Miranda live with a spirit called Ariel and a strange wild man called Caliban. King Alonso of Naples, who is accompanied by his son Ferdinand and his friends Sebastian, Antonio, and Gonzalo, or boarded on a ship and returning to their home. Prospero is a powerful magician who creates a storm to dash the ship. The ship is caught in a tempest and begins to sink. Miranda worries for the poor souls on board. Prospero instructs her to be calm as his magic powers have ensured that the passengers are safe. He then tells her about their pact. 12 years earlier, Prospero was the Duke of Milan and Miranda was a princess. However, they were betrayed by his brother Antonio and the King of Naples, who sent Prospero and his daughter away on a rotten boat. The two washed up on the island, and since then, Prospero has spent his time learning powerful magic. He controls Ariel, a spirit, and Caliban, his servant and son of the witch Sycorax. After telling his story, Prospero puts Miranda under a sleeping spell and talks to his servant Ariel. Prospero does not want his daughter to see his conversation with the spirit. Ariel explains that he cast the charm as instructed and has landed the passengers safely on different parts of the island. King Alonso, in one part of the island, thinks his son Ferdinand is swallowed up by the sea, and Ferdinand, in the other part of the island, laments for the death of his father. Meanwhile, Ferdinand is taken by Ariel and he meets Miranda. Astonished at the beauty of Miranda, he started collecting locks and works hard to prove to Prospero that he is a worthy match for his daughter. Prospero agrees that Ferdinand may take his daughter as his wife, as he tested Ferdinand's true love for his daughter. As Alonso and his party continue to search for Ferdinand, Prospero prepares an imaginary banquet for them. Ariel appears as a harpy and accuses Alonso, Antonio, and Sebastian of being three men of sin. They are terrified by the vision and run away. Alonso, Sebastian, and Antonio cannot believe that Prospero is alive. Prospero confronts each of the men in turn, reminds them of their sins, and then forgives them. Alonso is repentant and reinstates Prospero as Duke of Milan. Prospero embraces his brother, forgives the passengers for their former betrayals, and in the end, everyone is forgiven and they all set sail for home. Before leaving, Prospero sets Ariel free. Children, hope you enjoyed the story, and when you grow up, never forget to read the original play The Tempest by William Shakespeare. Finally, I'd like to conclude forgiveness and repentance are the prime themes of the story, and let's also practice it. Forgive others, not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve peace, says Jonathan Lockwood Huey. Children, I'll catch you in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe the channel. Together, we shall move forward.